What's the dragon in your life right now? What is the biggest obstacle you're facing? It could be anything like heart disease, diabetes, weight problems, mental health, or even a spiritual crisis. Whether it be physical, mental, or spiritual health, neglect often leads to disease. Let me tell you a story that explains these concepts that are found in my book, The Philosophy of Being Vegan Journey to Wellness. And I call this story The Dragon of Hearthvale. Once upon a time, not too long ago, there lived a king, King Sage, in the kingdom of Hearthvale. The king was quite content, for he had everything a ruler could desire: a wise and loving queen, three strong and handsome princes, and a flourishing kingdom. Among his greatest joys was his magnificent garden, a marvel of beauty that showcased the harmony of nature's gifts. Its vibrant blooms and abundant fruit were unmatched across the seven realms, a testament to the balance and care the king brought to his life. However, as the demands of ruling grew more complex, the king found himself increasingly drawn away from his beloved garden. The troubles of the kingdom, petty squabbles, and escalating disputes, and endless demands consumed him. In time, the garden fell into disrepair. Weeds choked out the once pristine pathways, and the thriving plants became shadowed by neglect. The king grew weary as he watched his sanctuary fall to ruin. Determined to restore his treasured garden, King Sage sought out a fabled shaman said to possess a potion that could forever banish weeds. Though reluctant to admit his struggles, the king knew he needed help. Pride weighed heavily on him. He dared not reveal his quest to his people, fearing it might tarnish his image. So, under the cover of night, he set off alone on a perilous journey. The ride was arduous, but the king pressed on. The shaman's forest lay beyond the borders of Hearthvale, where whispers of a dragon once kept travelers at bay. The king dismissed these tales as myths, relics of old tavern stories meant to frighten children. Yet as he rode deeper into the wilderness, he noticed scorched earth and charred trees lining the path. Unease stirred within him, but he brushed it aside, focused solely on his goal. The path grew increasingly treacherous. The once familiar road from his youth was now overgrown and unrecognizable. Weary from his journey, he came to a fork. The right path was a tangled mess of thorny shrubs and jagged rocks, daunting in its difficulty. The left path, by contrast, appeared smooth and easy, its way clear and inviting. A memory of his father's voice echoed suddenly in his mind. Sometimes the correct path at first seems the most difficult. The king hesitated. Pride whispered that the easy path was the smarter choice. Ignoring the wisdom of his father, he turned left. At first the journey seemed manageable, even pleasant, but soon the road descended into chaos. The land ahead was a graveyard of destruction. Forests reduced to ash and smoke. A roar, deep and thunderous, rolled across the horizon. It was then the king realized his error. As he turned to retreat, a sudden landslide thundered down the hillside, blocking his way back. His heart raced as he surveyed the debris, a labyrinth of boulders and broken trees. There was no turning back now. The only way forward was through this devastation. The king pressed onward, his resolve growing with every step. As he journeyed deeper, he caught sight of something extraordinary. Amidst the charred ruins of the forest, he glimpsed the dragon. Its massive form curled atop a horde of burning debris. But the beast was not the snarling monster he had once imagined. Instead, it looked wary, bound by chains forged of ash and soot. Its fiery breaths were erratic, not with rage, but with pain. The king understood then what the dragon was. It was no fable, no mindless beast of destruction. It was the embodiment of neglect and imbalance. It was the weeds that had overrun his garden, the fires that had ravaged the land. It was a smoldering force that had festered unseen in the heart of Hearthvale, fed by years of neglect and unwise decisions. He approached cautiously, his courage tempered with humility. The dragon watched him with burning eyes, neither attacking nor retreating. The king realized that to face this creature was not to fight it, but to understand it. He knelt before the dragon, acknowledging his role in its suffering. The shaman's voice, soft yet resonant, broke through the silence as she emerged from the shadows. The dragon is not your enemy, King Sage. It is a mirror of the imbalance within. If you wish to restore your garden, you must first restore yourself and the choices that shape your kingdom. The shaman offered no potion, only guidance. She taught the king to tend the soil with care, to nourish his garden with mindful intention, and to uproot the weeds not with haste, but with understanding. Together they worked to restore the land, and in doing so, the dragon's flames softened, its chains falling away. When the king returned to Hearthvale, he was a changed man. He shared the lessons he had learned, teaching his people about the interconnectedness of all life. They began to rebuild not just the garden, but their way of living, mindful of the balance between their needs and the world's harmony. The dragon still roamed beyond the borders, a reminder of what could arise if care was abandoned. But it no longer brought fear. Instead, it became a symbol of vigilance, a call to tend the garden of their lives with compassion and respect. And so the kingdom of Hearthvale flourished once more, its people living in harmony with their choices and the world, under the watchful gaze of King Sage.